Fads, Fashions, and Hairstyles of the 1920s.
By Olivia, Bostick, and Addie.
In the 1930s, we look back on the 1920s as a time full of significant changes that shaped the modernization of America greatly. Some of the main progressions included urbanization, the role of women in the working industry, introduction to modern and industrial jobs, new and improved technology, mass advertising, prosperity for many, and ultimately the new way of life for each and every American.
In addition to and because of these advancements, fads, fashions, and hairstyles became more important to people. This significant change in America was revealed through the changing clothing items that people began to wear.
Although women were mostly affected by this change, families in general were significantly affected as well. How your whole family dressed became a way to show how wealthy you were.
Although the change of fashion in general was significant to the population of America as a whole, there were specific benefits and trends to the different genders.
Women's fashion characterized the free-spirited, modernist era of the Roaring Twenties and the Jazz Age as women gained their freedom and independence.
Many women got much of their inspiration for how they chose to dress from their women idols, who were their favorite Hollywood movie stars, artists, musicians, and other famous people.
Some of these icons included Joan Crawford, Clara Bow, Louise Brooks, and other celebrities and members of royalty. These women not only set trends that became very popular to the rest of the world, but they also challenged the traditional styles worn by women, which became a big deal and contributed to the fact that women were changing the social norms at the time.
Although women were greatly influenced by the stars of the time, art movements in the 1920s, such as Surrealism, Impressionism, and Art Deco, also influenced the main trends. They created the modern look with strong colors and geometric shapes they created.
Some of the main trends that women became obsessed with due to the art movements and the movie stars were short flapper-style clothes that provided freedom of movement, striking Art Deco designs, cloche hats, and bobbed hairstyles, the boyish Garcony look and adoption of male clothing from Coco Chanel, casual styles for the day wear, and fun fringed flapper dresses or glamorous silk gowns for evening attire.
Other, more specific items and trends that arose were mannequins to show women how to combine and accessorize the new fashions. Egyptian styles and prints in both makeup and fashion, more skimpier bathing costumes, bell-shaped felt cloche hats, camisoles replaced constructive corsets, scarves with Art Deco designs, loose-fitting breeches gathered at the knee called knickerbockers, wrapped coats with fur accessories, Mary Jane's, pumps, and T-strap shoes, rubber overshoes called galoshes, makeup and cosmetics just like the movie stars, and much more.
There were many famous fashion designers who were women that created these pieces for the movie stars to put forth, which revealed that women of the time's roles becoming more prominent.
Some of the most popular fashion designers were Gabrielle Coco Chanel, Jean Levin, and Sonia Delany, who all had different contributions to the fashion industry.
As for hair, the bob hairstyle was very popular among many women due to the fact that movie stars such as Clara Bow had it. This style symbolized the independent women of the 1920s. A few variations of the bob hairstyle included the Dutch boy bob, the Eton crop, and the Marcel wave, and several more.
Believe it or not, these are only a few of the many fads, fashions, and hairstyles of the 1920s, but the ones covered are the most prominent and the main progressions that are valued.
In conclusion, the women's fashion of the 1920s represented modernism and women who were determined to free themselves of the shackles of the Victorian era.
Men's fashion in the 1920s characterized the exciting modern era of the Roaring Twenties and the Jazz Age. Men were reluctant to wear the new fashions, but women wanted to see their men in modern, fashionable clothes that reflected their prosperity and position in society. So the men followed the orders of their wives when it came to this.
The 1920s icons for men were also Hollywood movie stars. Some of these men included Douglas Fairbanks, Rudolph Valentino, and John Gilbert. Politicians, moguls, celebrities, and sports stars were also admired, such as Jack Dempsey, Gene Tunney, and John Weissmuller. An unexpected fashion icon for men were the Prohibition gangsters like Al Capone.
Some of the fashion trends for men that characterized the era were less regimented in formal style. Leisure clothes and sportswear were introduced. Formal, long-tailed evening attire was replaced by the tuxedo. Black patent evening shoes were covered by spat. Casual styles were adopted for leisure day wear such as +4s, sweaters, and knickerbockers, and the zoot suit, introduced during the Harlem Renaissance.
Other items and methods of dressing that became a thing during the time for men were casual sweaters like the Letterman sweaters, informal hats such as the newsboy flat cap, and dressier hats such as the fedora, shoes such as two-tone shoes and black patent leather wingtip shoes, zoo suit, which was a men's suit that was most common for African Americans during the Harlem Renaissance. Tuxedos and double-breasted tuxedos were replaced with white-tied dress code, and cummerbunds, which were sashes worn with single-breasted dinner jackets.
There were a few male fashion designers during this time as well too, but a majority of the most popular ones designed clothes for women. Two of which included Norman Hartnell, whose designs were lavish, expensive, and highly luxurious, and was very well known with the royal families because of this, and Jean Pateau, who focused on comfort and simplicity within outdoor fashion and women's sportswear. And one of his main pieces was the tennis dress.
As for hair, the classic hairstyles that almost all the fashionable men had during this time was the slicked back look. This had some variations, such as where the part was positioned or whether it was wavy or short.
In conclusion, male fashion represented the changing times as well, and their achievements after World War I.
As you can see, fads, fashions, and hairstyles were extremely important to each gender and even each individual in a different way, but it overall affected everyone in some way, shape, or form and represented what was going on in the culture politically, socially, and economically.
For women, clothing changed with their changing roles in modern society, particularly with the idea of freedom for women. Whether it was women freeing themselves from the corset and being able to wear more comfortable clothing, or Coco Chanel blurring the line between men and women, everything symbolized their roles in America and proved how they were making advancements.
For men, the change in clothing represented advancements and success since World War I.
Because fashion became so prominent in the U.S. for all genders and ages, the department store also became one of the most important institutions. Not only was it a community center for women of the middle and upper class for consumption, but also provided women with job opportunities, which was significant to this time.
Through the social change upbringing from the prosperous era of the 20s, fashion became a main way to express yourself and represent many things.
It became a way of life.